When I turned 50, my hormones changed almost overnight, and suddenly, the carnivore routine that always worked didn't. Today, I'm sharing the exact adjustments my 50-year-old body needed, what stopped working, and what finally brought me back into balance. If you're in your 40s, 50s, or just curious about how carnivore fits into menopause, this will save you years of guessing.
Hi everyone, it's Kendall from Carnivore with Kendall. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while and today I'm going to be talking about what has happened in my body quite dramatically in the last 8 weeks and how it's changed my carnivore journey. If you haven't seen my last few videos, I experimented recently around the end of August, September with high-fat carnivore, which was fantastic because I actually have an autoimmune disease, I have psoriatic arthritis, which I pretty much has been resolved with carnivore. And I have an issue also with going to the toilet and constipation. So for me, I always thought that with carnivore, yeah, look, once or twice a week is fine. Well, that's not entirely true. And once I added that fat into my diet, and it was quite high fat, I was having about 200 grams a day, that absolutely helped me to be able to eliminate better, which was great. As the time went on, I feeling good, lots of energy, sleeping really well. Obviously, we all have stress in our life and different things at different times of our lives. And as a 50-year-old female, I had started seeing a few little other symptoms creeping in, menopausal symptoms, which I thought I might have got away from. Starting with night sweats and just my temperature changing, and then my sleep started deteriorating. Now, this was sort of overlapping when I'd started the high-fat carnivore. So not only did I notice that, so I was a little bit more stressed because I wasn't sleeping and I love my sleep. And as we know, when we don't sleep well and when we have stress, which causes, they both don't help each other, our cortisol raises, and that also can add to increasing belly fat and holding on to fat because your body is in fight or flight mode. I got rid of coffee as well, and I've totally not had coffee for nearly 5 months now, which has been amazing. I'd made quite a few other changes in my body as well. I was noticing changes in my feeling of how I felt. I started to feel heavier. I started to feel like I had a layer on my body, which I've never felt, especially around my tummy and my legs. And as some of you know, my background is personal training. I'm very aware of exercise and looking after myself and very, very disciplined with my exercise. So I was doing my workouts and doing my, at the time I was doing 4-day-a-week resistance training, 2 days of cardio, sort of HIIT training, yoga, and I'm walking every day. I walk between 10 and 15,000 steps a day. So I felt like, oh my God, what is happening here? I can't do any more. I'm really strict with my eating. And at that stage, I'd gone from eating 2 meals a day, usually with carnivore. So I was eating sort of mid-morning to lunchtime and then early evening, usually by 6. So I was fasting roughly from my last meal, sort of like 16 to 18-hour fasts. I wasn't doing that. I changed into that high fat and I thought, okay, no more fasting. I'll just have a little meal after my workout, which was really small, just a couple of egg yolks and some butter. And then I'd eat my lunch and I cut my lunch down in half as well. So I was having only 1 patty usually rather than 2. And I was having a smaller meal because I thought that might help to keep my blood sugars more even. And I'd have my normal nightly meal. I don't know whether it was that, the increase of fat, plus all these other symptoms that were happening, the not sleeping, the menopausal symptoms, but my body was changing. And I could actually physically see it and feel it. And I was terrified because I've never had to worry about this before. So I was like, okay, we're going to cut back on the fat, which I didn't really want to do because I knew it wouldn't help my elimination, but I did. And I'll explain the things that I introduced during high fat carnivore that I kept and then I'll also explain the things that I let go and some of the new things that I'm doing to help with this situation. So in summary, my high fat process, what I was doing, I was eating roughly 80-20. So 80% fat, 20% protein. So I was tracking to see, how that was going. As we know, calories in and calories out really don't count with our weight loss. It's really more to do with how your hormones are working. Because if your hormones aren't working properly, nothing's going to get broken down. So we can track to see where we're at, and that does help a little bit when you're trying to work out what's happening in your body. I prefer not to track. I get a little bit obsessive with it. But in the case of when we're trying to make changes, sometimes it helps to track your calories and what you're eating and the macros. So I started doing that, and I lowered my fat just a little bit by not adding in as much butter. I was adding sort of 2 to 4 tablespoons on top of every meal. So I just cut that back to sort of half. And I started fasting again, which was something I thought I wouldn't do. I felt so much better. Within a week of just doing fasting again, my body just went straight back into it. Just simple. Stop eating at 6 and then fast until about 10, 9 or 10 even, and then not eat again until 6 o'clock. I felt way better, and my body just started feeling, I felt lighter in myself. So I was going back to just the 2 meals. I was not having any little small meal in the morning, and all my other things I was doing pretty much the same. So the good things that I took from the high fat experiment is I started drinking more water. So 2 liters of water at least a day. I also started supplementing with magnesium, which is also going to help with sleep. I was getting some muscle cramping, and it also helps a little bit with the elimination aspect. So I take that 2 hours before I go to bed, about 400 to 600 milligrams. I started taking some oyster extract tablets, which is great for skin, nail strength and hair, and also for thyroid function. So I was taking that, and I'm still taking that. And I started introducing about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of avocado every couple of days, which my body's been fine with, and it's great to have a tiny little bit of fiber, but also to have food for my gut, so prebiotics. So that's what I introduced. I still have my warm water and lemon and some apple cider vinegar in the morning, and I was continuing to do that in the morning, and I had got rid of the coffee, which I've continued to do, and I've also had lemon and ginger teas if I was out, so caffeine free. So they're all the things that I changed. Now, just doing that and the fasting alone made such a difference. I felt way better. So the fasting really allows your body to help with cellular renewal, to help with gut health and rejuvenating your gut. It also helps with lowering inflammation, and it also helps with sleep and concentration as well. So there's so many things. Do your research. There's some great people out there. I love listening to Dr. Mindy Pulse, and there's lots of other people out there that talk about fasting. So do your research, but what I did do and what I found about my research that I did do was trying to change around your fasting schedule. And not only just change, we need change in every aspect of our life. If you keep doing the same things, you will plateau and you will sort of become stale, and your body needs that stimulus to change and to grow and to keep, getting better. So I've applied that principle to everything. So not just my eating, so eating different foods, varying my foods, not just having the same thing all the time. I love my patties. I can be very, very strict, and I can get into a little bit of a rut because I quite like routine. So not just having beef patties, having sardines one day, having an omelette the other day, throwing in a little bit of bacon on the side or some pancetta, or changing it up. Change up your food so your body is getting a variety of nutrients from different sources. I love having beef liver. So every now and then we'll have days we have some beef liver and some patties. Still love having my butter, so I still have that as my main fat source. And I still love my eggs, so they're always thrown in. But we've also had some beautiful fresh fish. My husband went on a fishing trip and caught some up north. It's the most incredible, beautiful wild caught fish, so we're having that as well. And chicken every now and then. So varying your food, varying your exercise, changing around your exercise, changing around the intensity of your exercise. My walking, I was, doing the same old, same old. Walk fast, walk slow, have a jog, do some hills, change the walk. So varying and stimulating my body, and we call it progressive overload in exercise, changing it to make it harder and challenging your body. It's the same for our eating. But water is a non-negotiable, at least 2 litres. Trying to be healthy, if you can cut back the coffee or altogether, that is great. And sleep was the other one, which I was really struggling with. So I decided to do a 24-hour fast, which I've only ever done once when we travelled to Thailand. I did a 24-hour fast last week. I found it quite easy and I felt fantastic. Highly alert, not hungry. I would have been making great ketones. I was in a really good state and my body felt great. And I got probably the most repair, and that's the start of autophagy. When you get to that 24-hour mark, you start really having the cell renewal and healing in the body. So that's something I'm going to do at least once a month and possibly every week or every second week. You want to change your fasting time too. So sometimes if I've got to go somewhere all day, I might need to fast at 7 in the morning and I'll only do a 13-hour fast and then eat again at 7. Or I might do a 16-hour fast or a 17 or an 18. I'll just change it around. So you've got to create stimulus in your body for change. Really, really important. And you've got to listen to your body. The sleeping has started to get a little bit better, and the night sweats as well. I'm not doing hormone replacement therapy at this stage. I just want to see how I can go managing it myself. And I feel, after 2 weeks of doing this, I feel amazing. I feel more energy. My sleep's starting to improve. I feel lighter, and my body feels healthy. My skin's good. Oh, and I've added one more thing, and I've added some collagen, bovine collagen bovine hide collagen. It's hydrolyzed peptides to help with gut health, joint health, and obviously skin health, and helping that collagen be produced in the body more effectively. So that's something I've added in too. Love to hear some of your comments on this. I know there's going to be a lot of women who are going to reach out. Carnivore is fantastic. It's been amazing for me for the last 2 years, but my body is changing and I feel like I need to add different things in to create, as I said, the different stimulus and what my body needs to survive. So please don't be fearful of staying so rigid in carnivore and not making changes. So technically I'm really keto carnivore. I'm having a little bit of avocado. Every now and then I'll have some olives, but I'll just pick at things. Like I'm having a little bit here and there. I'm not going to be that rigid, and I'm going to do what's going to serve my body and make my body function optimally and effectively so that I can live the best life that I can well into my, 50s and beyond. So thanks for listening, guys, and I look forward to talking to you more and reporting back in a few more weeks about how it's going. So please share your experiences with any of this fasting, what you're doing, what's working, what's not working. And if you want me to do another video on another topic related to this, please leave it in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.